This book is a book, but this book is not a podium. So the book both is and is not at the same time. A contradiction? A clever sophist would pounce. Plato had to answer it, and the answer forced him to bolt new parts onto his entire philosophy. To see why this isn't a contradiction, we need Plato's map of reality. In the Republic, he draws the divided line, a single vertical line cut into 4 sections. Forms are the perfect eternal patterns behind all things. At the bottom sits imagination, then belief, then thought, and at the top, understanding of the forms themselves. 4 neat divisions. Every object of knowledge has its proper place. It's clean, confident, complete. A philosopher's dream of order. But this tidy map is about to come under serious strain. In the dialogue Parmenides, Plato already shakes his own theory of forms with brutal objections. Then in the Sophist, a new crack appears. The problem is negation, saying what something is not. The book is not the podium, but how can not being even be real? If we can't make sense of negation, we can't make sense of falsehood. And if we can't define falsehood, we lose our grip on truth. To save it all, Plato inserts a special subset of forms into his system, strange forms with powers the others don't have. These are the 5 great kinds: being, sameness, difference, change, and rest. Plato pairs them as apparent opposites: sameness against difference, change against rest. Being sits at the center, holding it all together. They look like ordinary forms, but they're not. They have a peculiar power. A single thing can participate in 2 of these opposites at once. And here's the strain. The divided line was supposed to have 4 divisions. Now Plato wedges in a 5th, a special category crammed into a map that was finished. Now watch the paradox dissolve. The book participates in sameness. It's identical to itself. The book also participates in difference. It's not the podium. 2 relations, 2 distinct forms. When we say the book is, we mean it shares in sameness. When we say the book is not, we mean it shares in difference. There's no contradiction because the is and the is not point at different things. Identity in one direction, difference in another. One object, 2 forms, both at once. The sophist's trap springs harmlessly open. The same trick works for any object. Take a triangle. It's the same as itself and different from a square. Both true, both at once. Does that dual status stop us from reasoning about triangles? Not at all. We prove theorems, measure angles, build geometry, never tripping over the fact that a triangle is and isn't. Sameness and difference coexist, and thought stays perfectly coherent. That coherence is exactly what Plato needed to rescue. Notice the engine purpose here. Plato didn't introduce the great kinds for fun. He built them to make negation work. Once negation works, falsehood becomes possible. Once falsehood is possible, so is truth. The whole machinery exists to secure the difference between a true statement and a false one. But notice what just happened. Plato had to add something. 4 divisions became 5. And if 5 solves one puzzle, what stops 6 from being needed for the next? The theory now demands ever more qualifications, ever more special parts. In the history of ideas, that's a familiar warning sign. Centuries later, astronomers faced the same situation. Ptolemy put Earth at the center of the universe, but the planets refused to behave. So astronomers added circles upon circles, little loops called epicycles, just to match what they observed. The model worked. It saved the appearances. But every new observation demanded another loop until the heavens were a tangle of wheels within wheels. A paradigm, the reigning framework of an age, propped up by ever more machinery. The great kinds are Plato's epicycles. They saved the forms by adding parts. Eventually, Copernicus arrived, put the sun at the center, and the loops vanished into clean, simple orbits. A better paradigm replaced the troubled one. But here's the crucial point. A broken paradigm can't be abandoned until a replacement exists. And Plato had no Copernicus. Parmenides denied all change. Heraclitus denied all stability. The pluralists offered no better order. None of them gave him a superior theory. So Plato held on. Picture his theory of forms as a wooden boat taking on water. The great kinds are cork pressed into one leaking seam. The leak stops, but the pressure shifts, and two new leaks spring open elsewhere. Patched, not saved. He knows the theory is in trouble. He keeps it anyway because nothing better has arrived. And so the book both is and is not. And so does Plato's theory, still floating, still brilliant, but visibly leaking.